Today it is 13 degrees below zero, very cold. I'm gonna take the truck out for a little drive, see what it does to the efficiency. Let's go. Well, it is a bluebird day if it weren't so stinking cold. It's 12 degrees below zero right now, and the cabin of Rocky is 12 degrees above zero, so it's not all that much warmer. And we're gonna go for a drive, see what it's like in this extreme cold here in Denver. So just did a little bit of side road driving for 10-15 minutes or so, and we're hovering around 98 miles per kilowatt hour average, or 0.98 miles per kilowatt hour, just under 1, which is a little surprising, maybe not super surprising given the temperature. But on a warm day, that would easily be 2. I know this truck really well now, and I could tell that type of driving at that speed, it would have been 2. So we're talking about half of the range here, and we're already down to 119 miles, 43%. I think that that's going to go up, and I think it can go further than that. I'm not going to push it, but definitely is less efficient than it would be if it were starting from a warm battery, a warm day. So you can see here the rate climbed up just a little bit at first, and I think that's because I was still going slow, but the battery is getting a little warmer, and then it's flattened off and started to drop down again, because now I'm going a little bit faster, going up to 47 or so. Probably not going to go much faster than this, just that's what traffic says, and it's pretty dangerous outside. Well, it's not dangerous, but I'm not going to go faster and make it dangerous. I do feel pretty well in control of the vehicle. It hasn't slid at all. It's very confident on this road. I'm not going to push it, but it is nice to be up high. The readout on the dash says minus 13 outside. It feels like it. It's pretty darn cold. So check in here. Efficiency is still down pretty low. If we check our overall trip efficiency, it's at a little over 1 mile per kilowatt hour, 102. So pretty low, and I've been going 30s and 40s this whole time, and it's flat, and really virtually no wind that I can feel anyway. So I would expect this to be probably over 2 at this point. So we're getting up into the 60s finally. We are still hovering around 1.2 miles per kilowatt average, 1.15. The roads are fairly dry. They're still, snow-packed, but dry enough to comfortably go in the 60s. So we'll hold it here for a bit, see if that changes the range any. I'm getting one warning here when I trying to set the adaptive cruise control. It says unavailable until servicing. Now I'm not sure why. I did just update the software last night, so it could be a software thing, but it also could be something to do with the sensors and the cold weather. Not sure. And the roads are dry. I'm up at 65, still hanging at little over 1 mile per kilowatt hour average, 1.3 it says over the last 15 minutes. So not great, but it's doing all right. Just pulling up to Longmont here. I've been driving about 30 miles. Let's see, about almost an hour, 50 minutes. And my average is 1.26 miles per kilowatt hour for that whole range. You can see the battery on the range, or on the efficiency chart here. The efficiency has gone up a little bit. It's starting to push closer to 2. And I think that's mainly because the battery seems to be working a little harder. It's getting a little warmer. I've been going about 60 miles an hour for the last 10 minutes or so, and it's climbing up just a little bit. Once again, there's not a lot of wind. I haven't been going fast, so I think the main contribution to the range efficiency here is the cold weather, which would make a lot of sense. It still says 13 degrees, minus 13 degrees on my thermometer here, and so it's cold. It's very cold. I anticipate that the efficiency will keep going up, but we'll see. All right, folks. Now's a chance for me to try something new. I'm gonna go to snow mode. See what that's like. To change the ride height, service air suspension. Guess what? I cannot go to snow mode. It won't let me. Let's see, I'm in park. There's nothing unusual. Something up with my air suspension. Could be something to do with the weather. Could be something else. I have no idea. So guess what? I cannot try out snow mode. We're sticking with all purpose for the moment. Well, I wanted to try out snow mode. Wasn't able to get it to work. And I think here's my speculation as to why. I think the air suspension is sticking where it is. I'm in the low position, not the lowest, but low. And so it won't go up or down. And I think snow mode wants to be able to move the air suspension naturally. And since it can't, it won't switch over. It would let me switch over to conserve, which I am not going to go to right now. But I can't go to snow mode, so I'm back in all purpose. I do want to try out the snow mode though, but not today. Guy up here on the side of the road, saw, and I'm gonna stop and see if he needs a hand. Our friend that I just stopped to help, his vehicle was overheating, which is odd, and all of his coolant was frozen. So it's that cold. Anyway, he looks like he's on his way. So, little report. It's about halfway through. I'm turning around now, so I've gone 36.3 miles with an efficiency of 1.26 average for an hour and 12 minutes. Did stop to help that guy a little bit, and my average speed is about 30 miles an hour. I would expect that efficiency to be up higher if it were a warmer day, so it clearly is affecting the cold is clearly affecting the range. It's now -2 degrees, so it's warmed up by about 12 degrees or 10 degrees or so, and so it's a lot warmer, but it's still very cold, and the range hasn't changed much. It is basically staying flat. So we're going to turn around. I expect it to get a little bit better on the way home. Seen a couple cars on the side of the road like this. Gotta be careful. So I started this little drive at 46%, and I am down to 23%. So I'm halfway. I have turned around, so I'm halfway home. And the efficiency is still running at about 1.26 miles per kilowatt hour. I've used, to go 42 miles, I've used 23% of the battery. So, you know, that adds up pretty well. It's still less efficient than what I would like, but, you know, with a big enough battery, it can still get me where I need to go. And boy, I had a truck bearing down on me. I got to speed up a little bit. One thing that Rivian doesn't have, which I really want, is an efficiency number for the moment, right? I want to know exactly what my efficiency measurement is right now, but I don't know that. And I'm gonna switch over to the other lane because this guy is right on my tail. I might slow down a little if I were you, dude. It's, you know, snowy out. Anyway, heading home. Doing well. The truck is riding comfortably. The main issue, of course, is that the suspension doesn't seem to be going up or down. So I think the suspension system is either frozen or some sort of mechanical issue. It could have something to do. Oh, there's a car off the road right there. It could have something to do with the weather. It could also have something to do with the software update, or something completely unrelated. You know, it's too much of a coincidence to not call it the weather and or the software update, but that means that I can't use snow mode. I also can't use the adaptive cruise control because it says to service the vehicle. So I don't know why. I might wait and see if it changes when it warms up before I call the service. But you know, it's working okay. Otherwise, the truck is driving just fine. And here you can see the ramp up I was talking about. I am slow. I'm going a little slower, 49 versus 60s. And maybe tiny bit downhill. But you can see the ramp up on the efficiency there. And I think that's because I'm going slower, and so it's getting a little more efficient. But earlier that would have been down in the 1.0 range, and now it's almost at 2. So that's good news. And here, for the first time all morning, the efficiency has just touched 2. If you go by this dotted line here on the efficiency chart, it is a last 15-minute measurement, so it's not necessarily exactly by the minute, but it's the first time that little average dot has touched the 2.0 line, which it makes sense. I'm going slower. There's no wind. It is a tiny bit warmer. It's -8 instead of -13. So that's a little bit better, but I think it's mainly because the battery has warmed up, and now it's going to be a little bit more efficient. Now it's kind of at a respectable range now. Since it's on the way, and since we're driving a little around town, sort of slower speed, thought I'd stop by the service center, just check out what's in the lot right now. See all the new Rivians that are there. Bunch of snow-covered trucks looking great. And a couple of R1Ss in the lot. There we go. Look at that. Oh, some yellows. Whoa, sliding around. Ah. Oh, I love driving this kind of thing. Oh, let's go over here. Whoa, sliding. All right, did my little Brodies in the parking lot action. That was fun. It's so much fun to drive a truck that's up high, and it's got some pretty good beefy tires. It gripped fine. It slid a lot, but that was fine, and it was a lot of fun. So I just want to give my overall sort of impressions from the day. I have been driving for 2 hours and 5 minutes drive time, and the truck has done well. I would give it a B- for the whole morning drive. Remember, this is not a scientific measurement exactly. I'm just trying out what it would be like if I were commuting and needed to go to work at 13 degrees below zero. So the battery is down low. It's down to 36 miles left, 13%. So I've used, what's that, 30 or so percent of the battery, 33-ish. It started at 46. It got me quite a ways. I've been driving 67, almost 68 miles, and averaging 32 miles per hour. So that's an important distinction. I haven't been going fast. And the reason that I would give it a B-, first of all, I'm going to start with an A just because it got me where I needed to go. Safely, comfortably, did just fine. But I got to dock it at least one grade for it, for the efficiency. It did not start off well. It was well below zero for probably the first half of the drive, and then it started to climb up. Lately, it's been hovering around 2 as I'm driving around. I have a little dip in it right now just because I was just doing a little joyriding in the parking lot there with a bunch of snow, which was super fun. But it's gotten about up to about 2 or so miles per kilowatt hour efficiency as I've been driving around town, almost back at the house. So it has improved. but it started off pretty low. It took a while to get it up to that rate, probably almost this whole drive. So hour and a half ish of driving to get it up to its better efficiency level. This is closer to what I would expect on a warmer day. So it seems that once the battery is warmer, it does perform closer to normal. It's just getting it there is what seems to take a lot of energy. Of course, that makes a lot of sense, right? Nothing surprising there, but I just wanted to know for sure. Now, the other half point that I'm docking it is because there seems to be a problem with the suspension system. Now, I'm not sure if that's because of the weather or because I just did a software update overnight, but I can't use the snow mode. I can't use adaptive cruise control. It says that I need to service. Whenever I try to do those things, it says it won't do it because the suspension needs to be serviced. Now, if it's an air suspension, maybe it's more affected by weather. I don't know. But I mean, it's battling some pretty extreme temperatures. So I'm not that surprised. But once again, it did function just fine. It didn't inhibit me from going fast or driving comfortably. I just wasn't able to use those extra features. I could have gone to conserve mode, but not to snow mode. And the reason it wouldn't do that is because it wouldn't change the suspension level, and so it won't let me do those other modes. I guess maybe snow mode wants to go up because I'm in the low setting right now. Maybe it wants to go up into the higher one. I'm not so sure about that. But overall, pretty good drive. Not entirely surprising, but it's good to know. Yes, the range is affected by the weather. The efficiency goes down quite a bit. If you're running at 1 mile per kilowatt hour and you have 135 kilowatt hours, you could get 135 miles on a completely full charge if you go all the way to zero. Now, I think it'll go further than that. That's assuming that you're driving on a flat road and with no wind and so on. I think it can go further than that, but it's definitely less than what it would if it were a warm day. So that's just something to keep in mind. So anyway, thanks for joining me. It's been a lot of fun. Please leave your comments. Let me know what you think about this drive, about what experiences that you might have had. Please subscribe. Send this to your friends. Click that like button. Don't forget to hit the little alert bell so that you get notified whenever there are new videos coming up, because we've got a lot more to go. I was thinking to do a drive in the R1S today. I decided against it just because the roads are pretty slippery. It doesn't have the best tires, and I think the efficiency range is going to be similar between the R1S and the R1T, the differences in efficiency, because for all intents and purposes, they're almost the exact vehicle when it comes to this particular scenario. And given that it has different tires, wouldn't probably be a very good measurement anyway as a side-by-side, at least not without switching the tires over, which, it's minus 2 degrees now. It was minus 13 below. I'm not going to be switching any tires today. I'm going to go home, hang out with the wife and kids, and just enjoy my evening. All right, I'm back. Rocky did well. Rosie's parked in a spot, charging up. Anyway, just one final note regarding efficiency. Yeah, the truck did not do as well as I hoped for this very cold weather, but it is indeed, you can see my breath, very cold, and it was much colder overnight, and it was started off with a fresh, not even a little bit warm battery, so that's understandable. And one other thing to note, this same effect would happen pretty much with any electric vehicle. If I were parked in a garage and the truck were warm overnight, I think it would be much better. Unfortunately, I had to cut the garage door off to get the truck in, so I can't really simulate that. Maybe sometime when we get a new garage built in next winter, we'll be able to test that out. And our Volkswagen e-Golf, which is also electric, it gets a huge hit in when it's cold weather, when any cold weather. I'm sure now it would be less than 50% of its range. So that's also something to take into account, because this isn't just the Rivian. This is every vehicle. In fact, the Volkswagen is much worse with regards to a range hit. So anyway, just something to keep in mind. Cool. And thanks again for watching. Have a happy holiday. We'll see you soon. I do have to say how much I absolutely love fresh snow. Yes, it is cold, but it's brisk. and I just love it. I just love the crunch of the snow under my toes, and shoveling, I like it. Yeah, it's great.